Drivers have come together to openly criticise the head of the World Motorsports governing body, the FIA, haven't they? They've released a collective statement through the Grand Prix Drivers Association calling on Mohammed Ben Sulayem to treat them like adults.
The excitement in the paddock is palpable, but it's not just the sound of roaring engines adding to the atmosphere. Formula One drivers, the athletes of this high-octane arena, have come together in an unprecedented way. Instead of focusing on their rivals, they are directing their attention to the man in charge of the sport, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem. Their message is clear. They've had enough. Every driver in F1 is calling for respect, asking to be treated like mature, elite competitors. This is no ordinary issue. It's a powerful stand against authority from the very figures who define the sport. Stay with me as we dig into this story of arising tensions, shared disdain, and newfound solidarity. A narrative that could change how drivers and the FIA interact forever. Before we go further, take a moment to like, subscribe, and enable notifications. You'll surely want to keep up with the events as they happen. Now, let's explore what's going on. Picture this scene. 20 strong competitors unifying to express their frustration. This is not just any group of unhappy athletes. It's the Grand Prix Drivers Association, GPDA, encompassing all drivers on the grid, from the seasoned veterans like Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, to the new stars like Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. Together, they have released a statement that cuts through the usual corporate jargon, sending a clear message. They're fed up with the current situation. But what pushed them over the edge? Comments made by Ben Sulayem, who told drivers to cut out the swearing, liking their expressions to that of rappers. The reaction came quickly, and it wasn't solely about the language used, it was the condescending tone. The suggestion that these incredible athletes, the lifeline of the sport, are acting like children. For many drivers, this felt dismissive and indicated a misunderstanding of the intense pressures they face. It raises a significant concern. Is the president out of touch with the true essence of Formula One? Let's take a moment to revisit the dramatic events of the Singapore Grand Prix, a weekend rich with tension and powerful emotion. After a race that didn't go as planned, Max Verstappen, frustrated, let his feelings spill over during a post-race interview. His words weren't directed at anyone in particular, just a genuine expression of his disappointment. Nevertheless, the FIA took strong action, imposing a punishment that seemed exaggerated for a mere moment of anger. Community service. Yes, community service. As if Verstappen were a young troublemaker rather than the reigning world champion. Charles Leclerc faced similar repercussions for expressing his frustration. The swift and strong response from the drivers was telling. They argued there is a crucial difference between swearing at someone and swearing out of frustration, especially right after an adrenaline-filled race. Let's be honest, drivers are just human beings. They navigate high-speed machines, racing over 200 miles per hour, with emotions that are just as hot as their engines. The FIA's strict response felt more like an authoritarian move than a true concern for maintaining a respectful atmosphere. This issue goes beyond language. It's fundamentally about respect, or rather, the lack of it. The drivers believe they are being micromanaged, with every action closely monitored by an authority that seems to prioritize petty rules over the spirit of competition. We have seen this before, such as the jewelry regulations that seem to target Lewis Hamilton, forcing him to seek a medical exemption just to keep his nose stud. And let's not forget the controversial rule regarding fireproof undergarments, another example of the FIA's focus on minor details rather than significant regulations. The drivers have had enough of this oversight. They want to be acknowledged as the skilled professionals they are, the gladiators who risk their lives every time they enter their cars. This is not a schoolyard. This is the pinnacle of motorsport. The statement from the GPDA made it clear. Ben Sulayem needs to reconsider his approach if he intends to effectively lead this sport forward. When it comes to Formula One, money speaks volumes, and it often drowns out everything else. One of the key concerns raised by drivers revolves around the fines they incur. Time and time again, we've seen them penalised for a range of infractions, from minor safety breaches to on-track confrontations. But what happens to that money? It begs the drivers are starting to suspect that these fines extend beyond mere rule enforcement. They fear that these penalties serve mainly to replenish the FIA's budget. This sense of unease is growing, and many feel that these financial sanctions have morphed into an easy source of revenue instead of a genuine effort to uphold the sport's integrity. The Grand Prix Drivers Association, GPDA, is calling for transparency. They demand to see how these funds are allocated, advocating that the money should support charitable initiatives or the development of grassroots motorsport, rather than padding the FIA's general funds. This is not merely an issue of accountability, it's also about preserving the sport's integrity and maintaining a positive public image. It's a rare sight to witness Formula One drivers rally together in such a manner. Typically, they thrive on competition, fiercely contesting every point and position. However, they have now united against a shared opponent. Prominent figures like Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, George Russell, and Charles Leclerc have raised their voices in union. This is not simply a collection of unhappy drivers. It is the entire grid, demonstrating an extraordinary level of solidarity. George Russell encapsulated their sentiments perfectly when he indicated that the drivers might resort to a public letter if their concerns remain unaddressed. This serves as a clear message to the FIA. Immediate changes are crucial, and they cannot wait any longer. So, what comes next? Ben Sulayem has significant backing from national federations, which means it is unlikely he will encounter immediate issues with the FIA. However, there is an increasing dissatisfaction among the drivers, and this growing tension resembles a storm that is gaining force. If not addressed, it threatens to escalate into a significant crisis that could disrupt the core of the sport. The drivers have been very clear in their message. They seek respect, transparency, and a seat at the table when it comes to decisions affecting their careers. This isn't about challenging authority, it's about preserving the integrity of the sport they adore and ensuring that it remains connected to its fan base. The drivers have voiced their concerns, and now it is imperative for the FIA to listen. This is an important juncture for Formula One, a pivotal opportunity for the sport to advance, transform, and confront the issues that have been simmering for far too long. Will the FIA take this significant moment for introspection and meaningful change, or will it dig in its heels, risking a rift with the very stars who illuminate the sport? What are your thoughts? Are the drivers justified in their challenge against the FIA President, or is Ben Sulayem simply doing what is necessary to maintain order? We want to hear your opinions in the comments below, and if you share our passion for F1, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and activate notifications so you can stay updated on this unfolding story. One thing is certain, this conversation is far from over.